everybody. Yes, today I will tell you something about the adoption of the an RDA output in FAO, the Statistics Division. And the output is from the Agri-Semantics Working Group. It's about hints to facilitate the use of semantics for data in agriculture. A couple of words about FAO. It's a UN agency. The goal is food security. It's active in both policy and data collection and analysis and dissemination. You can, for example, take a look at FAOStat. The one is the major platform for statistical data. Headquarters is in Rome, and there are national and regional offices around the world. So FAO has been involved in RDA from the very beginning. To mention the Agricultural Data Interest Group, Agri-Semantics Working Group, the Fisheries Data Interoperability Working Group, and the wheat data. When it goes to agri-semantics, the focus of the working group was on semantic interoperability. So that means not only interoperability at the level of protocols or data format, but really at the level of the interpretation of the data, what the data actually means. Which is usually done through, regularly done through a variety of resources, going from vocabularies, controlled vocabularies, thesauri, or up to ontologies. Summarizing, the focus of the agri-semantics and the outputs were on tools, with a special emphasis on achieving a generic web framework to enable the collaboration when working with semantic resources. The other focus was on the use and reuse of semantic resources and the adoption of standards. And something that was very relevant to us in FAO was the fact that the entire life cycle was covered, and that the various user profiles involved was also considered. So the question is, why agri-semantics is relevant to agricultural statistics? The fact is that the statistical data heavily relies on classifications. Obviously, when you collect data on production of wheat, for example, you have to have a notion of wheat, and usually codes are used for management and information system. And so this importance goes from the collection, the use, the analysis, and then further on with the integration of data with, for example, third parties data. But while statistical data is undergoing an important effort towards modernization in tools for collecting data, for example, or also in format for transmission, statistical classifications lag behind, and they are usually treated like in an ad hoc manner, like a variety of formats, non-standard. So in the end, their interoperability is seriously hampered. It takes a long time to work with them. And the good thing from our point of view is that agri-semantics recommendations offer this a global view, like a comprehensive view on what to consider to make them better. To give you a feeling for what we are talking about, this is like a table, like a typical answer result from a query to a statistical database. This is a yield of wheat in a couple of countries. You'll see the areas. So the countries the data refer to go together with codes. That's exactly the content of statistical classification, so terminological and coding content. And you see also some more wheat as an item and a corresponding code. So this is one big part of the adoption story I'm telling you today. And the other big part is the correspondences between classifications. So this is in green are the codes from one classification. You will see it's the same one used in the table, which actually it's established to correspond to these other codes in the other classifications. And this is like a bread and butter for statisticians all the time. They always have the problem of converting data from one classification to the other. So in the end, what it all boils down to is that words as ambiguous are ambiguous, and codes too. Classical example is Turkey, but also codes like 1079. They both can be like Turkish, again, from one classification, or something else, like manufacturing food. These are real examples. So the adoption of the agri-semantics output in FAO happens is taking place in the statistics division, and in the specific project called Caliper, is a web platform specifically dedicated to statistical classification. So what's the benefit to FAO? The expected benefit is to have a single platform to manage this type of metadata, statistical classification, in open and interoperable formats, while supporting all steps, all phases in the life cycle, from maintenance, publication, and use in information systems. And at the same time, produce public goods, because all this will be made available for the public. Ultimately, the goal is to have better statistics, and so to have statistics that are more timely, that higher quality, and especially better comparable. And now here a note of caution, because the platform is not yet an official service of FAO. So you'll see the data, you can access all data published there, but you'll need login and password I'm giving you in the presentation. You can test, give feedback, but please do not use the data as reference. So this is the like entry page, the home page of Caliper. These are the credentials. In just a few words, Caliper is an aggregator of resources. So all resources are published and created by somebody else, so classifications and their mappings. The key thing is that it's based on semantic technologies, open standards, and addresses user, both humans and machines. So out of the items, the suggestions and recommendations from Agri-Semantics, I highlight three main blocks. One is about the standard modeling and formats. So basically, it's mostly RDF technology stack with together with standard vocabulary. So the basic data model is uses COS. XCOS is a specific, like an extension of SCOS for statistical classifications. And something that is very new to this domain is the use of URIs for both items, classification items, and entire classification. The reuse of common metadata models, including also versioning and provenance information that are all machine readable, and the use of and the final output that is a web-based platform, and all based on open source tools and open licenses. Coverage, we have classification on activities, aid flows, so it's all about investment or aid, like financial aid to agriculture, crops, forestry, geographical areas, and nutrition, products, general products and agricultural products, and soil. Want to highlight, as I said, we have like all items are given different, like they have their own URIs with all data, corresponding data attached. Now, if you take this URI is resolved, so if you take them and pass them in your browser, you will see a visualization of what data is actually there, available for machines and humans. Common metadata models are very important for use information in information systems, and also for human credibility, so to speak. because in this case, it's very important to distinguish the, let's say, the intellectual content of classification, so the authors and versions and so on about the of the original classifications from the metadata that pertains to the RDF, say, the object distributed. Open source tools and the platform. Here, if you're curious, the names, some of the tools we use for visualizations: Cosmos, the Drupal content management system, GMKI, Workbench. It's a well-known editor, web-based editor for RDF and OWL, and we're working towards better integration. So, like, the final objective is to have all these tools nicely integrated in one single platform. So now a look at the future of this initiative is we are already in a collaboration with Eurostat, who's also interested in providing this sort of improved, better way to provide classifications, more interoperable. So the idea being that each adopt this framework and distribute and access classifications from the other in the same way. And in the future, this could be extended to a larger network. So there could be other classifications, custodians, so maintainers, and users that connect to others. Let's see. So this concludes my presentation. I kept it brief, but one more slide for the context and something that you might find interesting. This is like it just arrived yesterday. It's a survey from GODAN, from the Initiative for Open Data, Agriculture and Nutrition, about the use, opinions, and attitudes about semantic resources in agricultural data.